Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Mario Bakes here. I know I'm in the Philippines. My hair is bad, the lighting is bad, the camera quality is bad, but I just watched Spider-Man Far From Home, and oh boy, we gotta talk about it. Spoilers ahead. Let's get right into the video. No intro. Now, I am in another room because I did decide to do this the next day, and we switched locations. I have two houses that I go to. The first one was in Korea. Now I'm in Hawaii, Bohol. But we're still in the Philippines, so that's what matters. We gotta talk about Spider-Man Homecoming, so without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the first thing we gotta talk about is the movie review, and then we'll get into the post-credit scenes and what I think is going on for the rest of the MCU. Now, for the movie review, I think this movie was amazing. It blew me away. It has a perfect mix of superhero action and a cheesy love story that I personally love myself. So, yeah. And while we're on topic of movie review, I would rate this movie an 11 out of 10. Would definitely recommend you see it. It is July 4th, where I am, time of this recording. And the movie just came out yesterday in the Philippines. So yeah, I would totally recommend it. You still have a lot of time to see it. And in terms of movie ranking, I don't know if you agree with this, and I'm going to go on a limb here. This movie was better than Avengers Endgame. The reason why I say this is because Avengers Endgame has a lot of great parts to it. I just think that Spider-Man Far From Home has a lot more great parts to it. Like, for example, there are two villains in this. Basically, the Elementals and Mysterio. The fact that Mysterio made the Elementals and made it fake so that he could fool everyone to think he's a superhero, that amazed me so much, and that is one of the reasons that I think that this movie is better than Endgame. So, why don't we go on to what I think is next for the MCU and talking about the post-credit scenes. Before we get on to the next part, this is me from July 5th, which is the future of yesterday's me, and I just have another reason as to why I think that Spider-Man Far From Home is better than Endgame, which is rewatchability. I just came back from watching Spider-Man Far From Home twice in a row, and it never gets old for me. But for Avengers Endgame, the first time I watched it, it was really good. But the second time and third time I watched it, it was getting pretty bland, and there were some parts I wanted to skip. But with Spider-Man Far From Home, there's nothing I want to skip. I want to watch the entire thing. The entire movie was great, and that is why I liked it more than Endgame. Let's get on to the next part. Now for the first post-credit scene, oh my goodness, this amazed me so much. Because Mysterio just exposed Spider-Man by saying his true identity and a picture of Peter freaking Parker. This was honestly the best post-credit scene that I have seen, even better than Ant-Man and the Wasp, when they revealed that Hank, Janet, I think it's Janet, and Hope Van Dyne all disappeared from the blip. That's what they're calling it. So yeah. Now for the Daily Bugle reference on J. Jonah Jameson, I can't really relate because I haven't seen like most of the original Spider-Man movies from Sony, basically. I've only watched Spider-Man 2, which they say is the best one. So yeah, I don't really relate to J. Jonah Jameson, but I'm glad to see him there, and I'm glad to see that he switched over to videos rather than newspapers. I got that from YouTube videos, so yeah. Now for the second post-credit scene, I was not there to watch it. I left early. But basically what happens is, it shows Nick Fury and Maria Hill as Skrulls. I personally love this scene so much because I never thought that they would be Skrulls, and I never thought that they'd be playing the roles of Nick Fury and Maria Hill, which they did pretty decently, except for some parts that they gave it away. But basically this means that Nick Fury is in space, and he was on vacation on a fake beach, and he's on a spaceship, and he says, I need to go back to work, where are my shoes? Honestly, this was a great post-credit scene, not as good as the first one though, because it blew me away, and I cannot wait to see what happens next in the MCU, and mainly what happens to Spider-Man in Spider-Man 3. Now, you might be thinking, wait, there's a Spider-Man 3? And yes, there's a Spider-Man 3. Tom Holland confirmed it because of the meme he is. So yeah. So finally, the last thing I gotta talk about is my questions for the movie and what I think is gonna happen next time in the MCU and for the next Spider-Man. first question I have is, what is going to happen now to Spider-Man and MJ's relationship now that the post-credit scene showed that Mysterio basically exposed Spider-Man, saying that he is Peter Parker, and yeah, what's going to happen to their relationship? Second question that I have is, how the hell did Mysterio get that video on? Is he even dead? Is he still alive? That's the question that I have. And finally, the last question that I have is, are we going to see more of J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man 3 and moving forward in the MCU? Because if he is coming, I'll be excited. So now I gotta talk about what I think is next for the MCU and Spider-Man. So what I think is gonna happen in Spider-Man 3 is that everyone's gonna go against Spider-Man, and Spider-Man has to prove himself, and prove he's not who Mysterio thinks he is, and prove that he's actually a good guy. Now what I think MJ's gonna do is I think he's gonna be skeptic on Spider-Man and skeptic on Mysterio at the same time, so she's gonna be at the middle on the neutral side. Now what I think is next with MCU, not Spider-Man 3, is that there is going to be a Fantastic Four, and there's going to be a Sinister Six movie, whether it's Spider-Man 3 or if it's another movie. We'll get to find out right after the Black Widow movie comes out in spring 2020. That's the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. More coming out soon. See you guys next time.